Check. Yo.
We are in here. All right. Anybody want to get us started?
That's your job.
Okay. I mean, hey, I want to. It's equal. You know, we can take whoever's feeling it. But yeah, I can get it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm so glad to be joined by both Mason and Jacob today. It's been a little bit. Life's been busy. I feel like it's been good things. So
a lot has happened.
You know, we can't complain because we're staying busy with all of our stuff. But you know, it's so great to have the time to get back together and to talk about some movies because that's what we love doing.
This summer, we're gonna have time.
No, so much time. Hey, get ready for the Malik Mondays. Get ready for some French New Wave stuff. But yeah,
let's go.
I mean, we were talking about all types of things before this episode started. We were talking about Terrence Malick. We were talking about Tree of Life. Mason's going to see Tree of Life this weekend in theaters
Let's
the first time at the Egyptian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, we were talking about our experience working production sound and how the three of us collectively agree that we don't want to do that again.
Don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
Yeah. We were just talking about work in the industry, man. So yeah, it was it's great to catch up, and yeah, we're gonna talk about some a recent release from acclaimed director, and I mean I'm gonna use the G word, but genius, Ryan Coogler. I think he's one of the best working directors among his contemporaries. I think he might be the greatest screenwriter of his generation. I mean, maybe Jordan Peele too, but like someone. I mean, I'm willing to make that argument, but like his sense for storytelling is so innate. Like it is just, I don't know, it's effortless. There's no bumps. Like it just, every decision feels correct. I don't know how to describe it. Like you watch a Ryan Coogler movie and you're like, this guy was born to write. Like he just yeah.
You're just in good hands.
No, storytelling just exudes from him. It's just he's honed his skill. Mm-hmm.
This was actually my first Ryan Coogler. No, Black Panther. My bad. But it's been a long time since I've seen Black Panther, and I have not seen Creed. So this was
okay.
Yeah, you got to watch Creed.
Yeah, so sort of getting back into the world of Ryan Coogler, and me and Ethan saw it in Dolby on Easter.
Mm-hmm.
Good way to spend the holiday.
Hey, my argument was that we had, you know, you on Easter, you know, it's all about resurrection and being cleansed. And so
now we're getting back to sinning.
We were cashed in for the day. We had met the quota, so you know we felt like we had some room to.
It was time to get back to business.
There's you know subtext. It's very Eastery movie, kind of.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this is the Sinners episode. So the film is centered around the protagonist Sammy, who's, let me check. I'm forgetting.
Miles Caton.
Miles Caton, yeah. Shout out to Miles Caton. Debut role. Never been in a film before previously.
We got to bring that back, guys. I mean, this is great.
Yeah, introducing new talent is awesome.
Yeah. The introducing Miles Caton.
Like, the coolest thing ever.
When's the last time you saw that in a movie? Like no one does that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
the holdovers, yeah. But still, it doesn't happen often.
Yeah, true.
But it's such a, like, I mean, like, Ryan Coogler changed this man's life, you know? Just with that opportunity.
Literally.
Yeah, seriously. And, I mean, I thought Miles Caton did a wonderful job. I think the connection came through her, actually. She recommended Miles because he had performed, I don't know if he was like a backup vocalist or he'd opened for her on one of her tours or something, but her heard about the casting for Sinners and recommended Miles to Ryan directly. And so he sent in the tape, and he just kept on advancing. And then he didn't realize, but he actually got the role. And then he was like, not until he saw the screenplay or the script, realized how big of a role that he won. And so, yeah.
What a break.
No, seriously.
His life is set now, as it should be. I mean, he's got the juice.
Yeah. He was amazing. But yeah, the story follows Sammy, who's a son of a pastor, and we get just the coolest cold open. Sammy walks into the church. Just the audio and the music too before we actually enter the building is like just
you watch him
goosebumps, man.
I think you watch him like drive up to the
yeah.
Yep.
And the sonics around it are terrifying. And he walks to the building, everything is silent, and he's holding like a broken guitar, and he's bleeding, and he just looks distraught. And his dad basically asks him, he's like, drop the guitar, leave the blues, and stay here, or you need to leave. And then we see these flashbacks and flashbacks, but yeah, it's sort of previewing what the third act of the film is going to contain.
Mm-hmm.
And then the audio and the sound builds and to a crescendo, and it cuts
really loud.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Mixed very loud.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then we get the introduction of Smoke and Stack, twin brothers who are coming back from Chicago. I forget, what were they doing for work?
They're like in the mob, right?
Yeah, they were in they were in the mob. I think they were just like running
organized crime. Okay, yeah.
They were just like running
like Al Capone or something, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, they're back.
Smoke and Stack.
Which everyone's always already like, oh, we need the prequel. It's like, come on, guys.
No, okay.
Jacob and I were talking.
Actually, I have something to say about that.
Go ahead.
Speak on it.
Go ahead and say it now. But an anonymous source asked me a question if there should be a sequel to Sinners, and I let out a sigh. For those that don't know, there's a post-credits scene in Sinners, and we don't have to talk about that now. We can talk about it later. And the point of the post-credits scene is not to set up a sequel. It's very clearly meant to say something else, but we are so sequel-rotted as a society and MCU'd and whatever that people just want more, I guess. And clearly this movie is meant to be a standalone piece.
And I feel like it's cool that Coogler, like, you know, he comes from the Marvel background. He comes from IP, obviously, you know, bringing back the Rocky franchise. And I feel like it's cool to, like, bring the MCU, like if he was going to bring one thing from the MCU, like I feel like the post-credit scene is like kind of a cool thing.
Yeah,
and I feel like the way that he implemented it is cool.
Was cool.
But then it's already like, what does the post-credit scene mean? It's like, come on, guys. Yeah. That was not the intention.
The post-credit scene was not meant to set up a sequel, and it's pretty straightforward. And that's my opinion.
Literally.
But and we're 8 minutes into the episode talking about the post-credit scene.
Yeah. Demand more original movies instead of sequels. I just don't even understand that sentiment. I feel like I would just get tired. I don't know. Anyway,
continue. Sorry.
But yeah, with the entrance of Smoke and Stack,
kind of like the Mickey 17 of the universe.
We've had a lot of twin movies.
We should not breathe Mickey 17 in the same breath as Sinners, but that's okay.
It's the year of the
shout out to Robert Pattinson, but
bro hates Mickey 17.
I don't hate it. It just was not great.
I mean, it is quite mid. Yeah, it is quite mid. Yeah, it is.
This one,
I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, no, it sure was
twins.
Funny.
Anyway.
But yeah, back to Smoke and Stack. We get, I mean, even from the first scene, Coogler does such a good job of distinguishing these two characters as very different people, even though they're twin brothers. They're, I assume, obviously identical.
Red and blue.
Yeah, red and blue, but yeah, you know. Stack like rolling the cigarette for smoke, and then so just that dynamic established between them in that first scene, I think is so smart and so intentional.
Yep.
And
that's where we get the stalker shot.
Yeah.
They like cut to the. It's interesting because it's like they cut to the telephone pole, which is like it looks like a cross
thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is like, that would be kind of a bit of a stretch, but he holds that shot, and I think he cuts back to it again too.
Yep.
I was like, that is yes.
Nah, it's cool. And dude, Coogler knows his stuff. Like you listen to interviews, and I was watched a video where he's like talking about his 5 favorite movies. I don't remember off the top of my head what they were, but I mean, he mentioned Malcolm X and Do the Right Thing, and then he mentioned some French film that I'd never heard of, and then another one I was like, what? And I had to check them both out, and just like his I don't know. He's a scholar, dude. Like, he knows his stuff.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
But yeah, I was amazed by the world building of the film. He makes Mississippi feel so alive. I think shout out to the production design.
Shout out DP.
DP too. Beautiful. Yeah. She did some great work.
Any scene in a car was just like.
It just feels so lived in, like you're saying about like the world building. He's really good about that. Because that's, I mean, you can see him do that in Black Panther.
Yeah, for sure.
And Creed as well.
Yeah, I think Black Panther especially though, the world building in that felt like just. I think that's one of the stronger parts of the film, honestly. And I'd say for Sinners as well. The world building is huge. I think the first act is largely like, it almost. I've heard arguments that suggest that Sinners doesn't really follow a typical 3-act structure, but instead like 4, and so the first almost hour or so is mostly expositional, but not in a way that I would say is bad. It's more like I said, it's world building, and it's exploring the characters so. The decisions made later on have more weight. So we meet Delta Slim. I think the arrival of his character is super interesting, and especially Sammy's portrayed as like this prodigious musician who has like who's going to be a star basically. And so the arrival of Delta Slim almost poses this figure or this phantom of what Sammy's gonna be in like 40 to 50 years time. And what Delta Slim is sort of like a washed-up alcoholic who's bitter and has like a very pessimistic view on music and the blues and people in general. He just seems like very jaded. And Sammy's, like fresh-faced. He's young. He just wants to play and be a musician. And so, how do Smoke and Stack convince Delta Slim to come? Oh, it's the Irish beer.
The Irish beer, yep.
Yeah. Yeah. He lets him try the Irish beer, and he's like, "We've got a ton of this," which is that's already. Super interesting, but they convinced Delta Slim to come to the juke joint. That's kind of the inciting incident. Is that Smoke and Stack come back down from Chicago. I don't know if they come down to start the juke joint, but that's kind of like what they talked to Sammy about. They're like, yeah, we want you to play at our juke joint. They go to the. I'm going out of chronology here, but they go to this market owned by what's their names?
It's Lisa and
yeah, you got it.
I got it.
I don't know.
Look some stuff up too.
But yeah, they're getting food for the fish fry. No, they're having a fish fry, but for the juke joint.
And they got to make the sign.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. Oh, I guess the other thing is the arrival of Mary, played by Haley Steinfeld's character is a pretty important moment. And then you have also the introduction of
Cornbread.
yeah, cornbread.
Right. Mm-hmm. Which is a very, very funny scene where he's talking to his wife.
Oh, yeah.
While they're working. Right. What are you looking for?
I'm just looking back through the IMDb of everybody.
Yeah, I can't find the
Oh yeah, Bo and Lisa.
Oh, it's Bo. Okay, I knew it was Lisa. Oh, okay, yeah, I see now. Yeah.
So what
I feel
next?
not Bro said, "Are we still rolling?"
Is this thing still on?
Let me pull up
The synopsis.
plot.
But yeah,
Yes.
I think another huge plot point is the introduction of Annie's character.
Wait, who's Annie?
That's Smoke's love interest, right?
Oh yes,
Annie.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot that her name was Annie. Yes.
I think
Yes.
that's whoever. No, yeah, Smoke because he's
Yes, it's Smoke. It's Smoke's
mhm.
wife, Annie. Yep.
Yeah.
And he goes back and
Mhm.
and plants the flowers. And
That was a great scene.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's one of my favorite scenes in the film.
That's a great scene. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what happens before the before they start getting down.
Pause.
The music cue, like as that started happening, I was like, interesting choice. And then like it got louder and then they cut and I was like, wow.
I'm sure we'll have a discussion about Goranson.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That
Well, we get introduced to Rimmick, who Jack O'Connell's character, the Irish immigrant, and that's really where the movie turns. It's interesting that you were talking about like the first hour is just like character exposition because 99% of the time that's kind of can get grating and boring, but the way that he introduced the characters and the way that he's cutting between Smoke and Stack makes it very interesting. And I was just engaged the whole time.
100%.
Even before, like, it could have been, like, if you went in not knowing anything, you would never guess in a million years that it's, like, an adult drama with vampires. Because it just feels like...
It felt very, like, lived in.
Yes.
And like, down to earth. Like, it felt almost like slice of life in a way, like just with how real it felt.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way that Rimmick like visually shows up in the movie, like descending like from the top and like jumping down. That
Yes.
shot of him approaching like the Courage the Cowardly Dog house, like out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
That was it was like instantly iconic.
Yeah, literally.
I also think the inclusion of like Native Americans being the ones looking for him is interesting.
Yeah.
As the indigenous people.
I feel like in a
it was
different
nice
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like in a different universe, he would have like brought. I feel like it would have been almost too much, but I would have been really interested to like see them come back and like them play it like a bigger role.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because that was really interesting.
No, it was. And I also think the they knew what Remick was too, which is really interesting. They knew him as like a vampire, and they were like hunting him.
Yes.
Which I think has some very interesting subtext of, like settler colonialism and the indigenous people being the first people to experience that. I know that, transatlantic slave trade, it's like, I don't know. My history obviously is not like super down pat, but like 1400s, I think 1600 is about when it started in the U.S. I might have to check that really quick, but
you're right.
Yeah,
That sounds right. Yeah.
I mean, 1492 is the year that everybody throws around, like about Christopher Columbus, like colonizing.
Yeah, no, I think
the West Indies.
I think the Mayflower coming over is like 60.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously there's a bit of time in between.
Yeah, that's something that I honestly had forgotten about, but now that you mentioned that is a very, very clever way of just kind of which
A
this
tip
movie
of the
has
cap
like
almost.
Yeah, which is really cool because I feel like this movie just has like a lot of little details like that in terms of like just story and subtext.
Well, that's the thing about Coogler. He's in the very small list of, that generation of filmmakers. You think of Peele, you think of Gerwig, you think of, maybe Baumbach, of people that can like make a really good movie, but it's not just a movie with subtext, and it's not just an entertaining popcorn movie. It's both.
Yeah.
That is really rare. Like, think of Get
No.
Out. Think of Little Women.
Yeah, it's
He's really good at that.
It is. It's like really a display of artistry to sort of ride that line.
And it kind of has like a little bit of everything going for it, and that's pretty obvious. Like even just like talking about the numbers, because this movie has been doing gangbusters at the box.
Which I'm so glad it has. I think that's great for
That is a
Coogler's.
huge win for Coogler. For I guess for
everybody.
Warner Bros. I don't know if that really matters, but for theaters, I guess
think
is a really big deal.
Why I'm excited is that, one, that gives him security for his next movie, and I also think it allows him a lot more creative freedom because he's built that trust with the production studios that he can go basically just make a movie and
I'm
trust
sure you
that,
all saw this, but he did in the negotiation, he did the really, really weird thing that only Tarantino has done, where he's getting the ownership back after 25 years.
Yeah.
Which already
is huge.
before this movie, I think everyone was like, this guy's got the juice. We want him to be at our studio. Now after this, dude, blank check. He does whatever he wants from here on out. He's got the keys to the kingdom, which is great.
Yeah.
And I also think, this film is a lot about like appropriation and ownership, especially of blues music and how obviously 50s and 60s, it's blues is black art form, and it stems from black gospel and from spirituals, and it was co-opted in the 1950s and became very much a form associated with like whiteness. At least it was presented and repackaged to white audiences. I mean, just Elvis and even the Beatles to a certain extent. But so the like, I don't know, for Coogler to
like
have
rock,
ownership of his
like
own film,
rock
that is
period.
It is about that.
Yeah, it is a black film, and so
Yes.
him having ownership of that is like cool, and it feels like the only right thing also.
Yeah,
absolutely, and it's something that I don't think he said like, hey, like I did this for this movie because there's subtext about ownership and stuff, but he said that he is not going to do that ownership thing again. I think that this specific story and this specific movie is special for that reason, for sure, which is really cool.
Yeah,
It's cool that that Warner Bros. Agreed to that because that's extremely rare.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited to see what he keeps doing because, directors of his caliber getting the green light is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and I mean, we know that he's doing Black Panther 3, which is going to have Denzel. Which
wait, what?
Yeah, you didn't know this?
No.
So it's like, I'm not going to be upset about a Coogler movie, but I do wish he would, kind of steer
Move away from that, yeah.
from
Marvel,
IP, MCU. He can do whatever he wants, though.
Hey, did he make Dune 2? All right, it's not impossible.
No, literally, dude. It's Nolan made like probably the best Batman movies ever. So
yeah,
it can definitely be done.
All right, before we get to the scene, okay, we should talk about Annie, the charm or the necklace that
the occult stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, the association of like African magic and connection to ancestry versus essentially Western religion. That's a pretty big theme that's explored and sort of juxtaposed as Annie's more, I don't know. I guess the the terminology for like what spiritual practices she uses, if it's like magic or if it's something else. But I think that the use of magic and sort of the safety surrounding smoke is interesting. I think it's a pretty important scene. It comes back later. So yeah, yep. I want to get that out of the way. Definitely. Is there anything else that we've covered the Remick stuff? His introduction.
He turns the Klansman couple into vampires, which kind of spurs everything.
Smoke and in order to Smoke and Stack, we also failed to mention that Smoke and Stack buy the barn, the juke joint from a clan member,
and they're like, "Hey, this is a lot of money. If we ever see you or your people stand over an inch of our property, it's you're done."
And so
then we basically are at the
juke joint, the opening,
the juke joint for the rest of the movie, basically.
Yeah. Yep. It's kind of a bottle episode, a little bit, or at least the second.
No, it is. Yeah, it definitely is.
It's really cool. It's hard to do well, but I'd say it's successful.
Yeah.
Okay. And anything we need to. I mean, I feel like it's just kind of things going on before. Just like
scene.
Conflict building. Yeah,
we're
dancing around it.
It's all building up to this.
Just talk about it because it's basically next because it happens towards the beginning of all the juke joint stuff.
Yeah. So
all the world building, all this characterization, and the people showing
and we get
up.
all the characters in one place. It's like a season finale of a TV show.
So Sammy starts hitting on a married woman, basically, and she's like, "I heard you're a musician." She's kind of feeling him though, so but yeah, she's like, "I heard you're a musician," and he's like, "Yeah." And so I don't know if it's just Sammy, right? Delta Slim's not playing, or no, they're I think everybody's jamming, right?
Yeah,
everybody's jamming, and then they're like. No,
but Sammy like steps up. Yeah, he steps up, and then that's
it's like
when once he starts playing, it's different.
And so this is, I think this is when we take the aside to talk about Ludwig Göransson. So the song itself starts as a just voice and what's the guitar he used? I'm sorry, I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, no. We got to get this right. We got to get our details covered.
You got to do it justice.
Somebody take me.
Yeah, go ahead, Mason. It says it's a 1932 Dobro Cyclops. Sorry, we're watching the Timberwolves versus.
I have it on.
Someone had a shirt that said Draymond, and it was a picture of Draymond, and to the left of it was Donkey from Shrek. and Draymond was in the Shrek font.
Dude, it's crazy. The Timberwolves are at home, and Steph is out for the rest of the game. They have to win this.
But I mean, it's down. It's a 10-point game. We'll see.
I will say every single road team has won.
Yeah. I was talking to Jacob.
Which is like, crazy.
The Warriors have a chance to ensure that every team steals home court, which would be crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time that's happened. But
No,
Yeah,
that's been a while. Probably.
Yeah, I didn't mean to distract, but I was very surprised when I saw in my peripheral Draymond in the Shrek font.
yeah, but yeah, 1932 Dobro Cyclops is the guitar that Sammy's playing. And so that's the first thing we hear, and he's singing. And you're gonna have to help me. I don't know who's listened to it. I listened to it yesterday, but I'm having a hard time remembering the entrance of the next instrument. But essentially, Göransson folds in these textures very slowly, very naturally. And the music kind of crescendos beyond just the ensemble. I think maybe some piano or there's like diegetic sound, and then we kind of okay, aside. I think the point is that all the music that's being used in the scene is diegetic, and it isn't revealed. We hear it before we see it.
Yes.
And so
Which is so cool.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's really the magic of the scene.
Yes.
So the music builds out, and the texture thickens, and Miles Caton's voice sort of his performance, the intensity increases. The dynamics are rising, and as sort of the intensity of the song builds, we hear the entrance of an electric guitar, and I'm like, interesting. Yep. This is kind of breaking the chronology because we're in the 30s, and you don't get electric guitars until late 40s, 50s even. And we cut, and we see, like, I don't even know.
Isn't it a guy from? It's like someone from like who's like dressed in like 80s.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yes,
I forget
the
the
80s
aesthetic that I'm looking for. It's like is it like cyberpunk almost?
Like
The
space
vibe?
rock?
Yeah, it's like almost
like
a
space
cyberpunk
rock
vibe. Yeah, and this guy playing an electric guitar, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Like,
Yep.
Like very like glam rock, space rock kind of thing.
but we reached the point where like we're getting metatextual.
Yeah. You're at this point. You're like,
This is where your jaw
drops
Because
you're
you
like,
realize what Coogler's doing.
well, this is the moment where you're sitting down and you're like, if this goes right, this could be very special. This could be extremely cool.
And then you hear 808s, like
The 808,
Roland-
yeah, the 808.
Roland T
Yeah.
808, and you see the turntables and the sort of metric modulation with the drums. The new sort of time comes in, and
it's
more
all
of a dance feel.
overlaying on top of each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've got dance, and the chronology is crazy, and everybody's just dancing and partying and engaging in the music. And you even see like African drums and traditional like attire being worn with the music, and so it is multi-generational, but it's still chronological. It's teleological. Where it starts from the beginning. And it points to
multicultural as well.
Yeah, but yeah, it's essentially like chronicling,
like just showing like the evolution, like
Of black
all
music.
all to this point.
Yes.
it's in one of the most like shocking and
Yeah.
And the whole
creative and concise
the whole,
ways.
Yes,
one could do it.
The joint just burns down, and
It
they're all
literally-
outside.
The
just
walls outside them literally
dancing.
burn down.
Yes.
It literally burns up.
And you're just like, okay, this is not like you kind of realize you're like, we are not in the story anymore. This is just like a one-off type scene where it's metatextual.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just like even just like tying back like the one like the 808 like all the way back to to the blues.
Yeah. But even before that, it like
and
just-
even before that,
music,
yeah.
the music of
Like-
Africa. Yeah.
it was
It's
just,
very.
it was
It's
unbelievable.
so special to get a scene of that. I don't want to say avant-garde nature, but almost avant-garde nature in a movie where millions of people are watching this.
In my review-
you don't get
yeah.
that every day.
I said the last time I felt that floored by a creative directorial decision was Glazer in Zone of Interest.
But that's the cool thing about this is like, you know that 30, 40, 50 times as many people are going to watch Sinners
Yeah.
and they're going to experience that scene. Like
Exactly,
you don't
yeah.
get that in blockbusters every day,
No,
man. That it's
yeah.
so special when that
It was
happens.
amazing. It was amazing. It was a truly like transcendental experience. I don't know, like
Yeah, no,
my mouth like I started like tearing up nearly, just because I was so overwhelmed by the scene.
Yeah,
And
like I was frozen.
Yeah.
I love that it's like it's also just saying that it's like, so, you know, Sammy in this case, but it's just like anyone in the real world. It's like there are people with talents that are just like it can take you to a spiritual level or a religious level where it's just like it's transcendental. You don't understand how they have that level of talent or how they have that level of, you know, like their voice is just like so special. And that's kind of like Sammy's music spurred all of this. And it really is. It's like a transcendental.
I think Ethan's phone just died.
I'm plugging it back in, so y'all keep rolling.
I don't know if you could hear him, but Ethan said keep going. Keep going. His
Oh,
phone.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm
he's-
disconnecting
It's
your,
just it's like, you know, it's transcendental. So
take my headphones out.
that's all I was gonna say.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess to another point, another I think related to that point of that sort of gift of music, and related to the scene of like the lineage of music, specifically black music, is using music as a means to tap into or communicate with people or you know, the people that have come before you, which is, I mean, it's so interesting, you know. Obviously,
It's also just to reach something higher. Like I said,
Yeah.
it really is like spiritual, and it's like you're saying to like reach people before you and after you, and it's just like it's one of those things where it's like it conveys so well that it's just like music is you can't define music. It's too special. It's too I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, just like think about when you like go like if you like look through like your parents or grandparents like record collection and you maybe not even necessarily like listening to it, but just like smelling the collection and seeing the music and even hearing the music and like understanding why, like in a lot of cases just like loving the same music as much as they did. It's very much the same feeling, and I was certainly floored as well. Chills, you know.
I think that's if he hadn't already, I think that's where Goranson has taken the mantle. He is number one now.
Yeah, for sure.
He has to be.
undoubtedly, yeah. I think, and this is, I'm trying to find this quote exactly, but Ryan Coogler was talking about specifically. Oh yeah, I found it. Okay, so he was talking about how he used the sort of the impetus of his movie was his uncle, who was from originally lived in Mississippi, but he was from like San Francisco, I think, or the Bay Area. Listened to blues music. Ryan Coogler said that he would drink Taylor whiskey and listen to blues. And this is the storyteller in Coogler, but he was on Matt Barnes' podcast, actually, All the Smoke. He was talking about it, and he said specifically, like relating to his uncle telling stories, he said if the whiskey was cold enough and if the song was good enough, he would get a story about Mississippi. And I was like, ooh, yeah.
That's special, yeah.
No, yeah, seriously, that's like you only get that from a storyteller. But yeah, he's like, yeah, he used to drink Taylor whiskey and listen to the blues, and if the song was good enough, if the whiskey was cold enough, you get a story about Mississippi. But after his uncle passed away, Coogler would find himself listening to the blues and feel his uncle's presence, like he was still there or still connected to him to some sense. And I feel like all of us have music that we listened to in our childhood or you know, even still today that we associate with family or with childhood or loved ones. And, you know, anybody can use music to tap in or transport yourself back to a certain time or experience. And, you know, speaking to what Mason said, it's transcendental.
Just like keep that memory alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And music is like music is. There's other things that can do that, but with music, it's a certain unique nature. About like you think of like nostalgia or think of people, and it's like, oh, 10 years ago I was with this person, and when I listen to this album, that takes me back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, music can do that better than anything, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
And even just like for me, like personally, I was talking about like going to like an old record collection, like smelling, like
Yeah,
smelling,
the smells, dude.
the
Same
smell,
thing,
smelling the collection. I mean, like I can listen to like this is gonna sound like a little silly, but when I listen to Continuum by John Mayer,
Yeah.
I can smell my dad's 2006 Toyota Camry.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
that's why it's so special, because I love movies. Movies are probably my favorite art form, but they can't do what music can do.
yep. Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. It's a powerful thing. And I think capturing music in a visual medium is a very tricky.
Yes.
Because people, it's just
People try to do it all the time.
well, it's just they're two different wheelhouses.
You mess around and you make a maestro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh God.
Hey, I had to get my lick in.
There's at least one Maestro disc, I feel like, in every episode.
Hey, Bradley Cooper's new movie starring Will Arnett coming later this year.
Hey, I like Will Arnett. You know, he was pretty good in the Reese's commercials, so.
That's true.
But
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a Buffalo.
Man, that's his legacy. But yeah. And so I think Göransson had a very interesting task of, I mean, it's a huge like undertaking of creating this score for a movie that's about music, and it's about not only the history of music, but like it's meta in a way that like he's making music about music,
And he's being asked to pull textures and
collage. It's like polystylism. It's collage. It's I don't know.
he's being asked to pull stuff and incorporate stuff going back. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of years.
And I mean, he kills it for all intents and purposes. You know.
Yeah.
I tried to tell you all when I went into Warner Bros. That day. I was like, man, this is special.
Yeah.
I was like, Göransson, man, it's different. It's special.
Wait, did you get to see it before?
Yeah. So would you be able to say like what part you saw?
I saw. I mean, yeah. I think now it's fine. I saw. It's interesting because it kind of changed my perception of the movie. Obviously, it's going to have an impact on what I think about it. Thankfully, I did not see the scene that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw random scenes throughout the whole movie because they were about to do playback for Zaslav the next day. So, like, I didn't see the very beginning, but I saw the post-credit scene. Like, it was just different scenes throughout the movie that I'd seen.
Interesting. Did you recognize that as the post-credit scene before or not?
No.
So okay, that's nice that you.
I thought it was just like the ending. I was like, oh, okay, I guess like there's a jump. You know, I was like, I guess there's a time jump or something.
That's kind of cool.
But as I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, that has to be a post credit.
Yeah.
I was just curious, a little look behind the curtain.
That's super cool. Wait, talk about it really quick though, because people. I mean, that's obviously very interesting.
Yeah.
No, I was like, speak on your experience.
Wait, what? You're kind of cutting in and out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just saying, talk about that day really quick.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, it was amazing. I mean, the whole team was so nice, and it makes so much more sense looking back on it because the music editor was telling me about how him and Göransson were like on set, like they were at production, and they were. Coogler just brought them in for basically like the whole process, and they were working on it for like 2 whole years. That's really rare.
I did not realize you got to talk to the music editor. That is so cool.
Yes.
That is the mark of a go-to director right there.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's just we would all die to have the connection that Coogler and Göransson have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're just constantly building each other up.
Yeah.
I mean, and the story of how they met, they met at an abandoned frat house or repurposed frat house in L.A., and they hit it off because Coogler started talking to Göransson about like Swedish
House music.
House music, yeah.
Swedish House Mafia.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So who's your connection again with that? You were like shadowing, right?
So yeah, I was shadowing David Butler, who's the dialogue and ADR editor.
That's crazy.
And he was on the mix stage because it's not like I saw, I didn't see anything that crazy or I didn't hear anything that crazy because they were it was basically the last day of mixing. So, I saw the finished movie and stuff. But it was really cool. I mean, they were just making really, really minor adjustments.
Right.
Like the smallest things that no one would ever hear, that no one would ever notice. But you just got to get it as close to perfection as you can.
Wow.
That's crazy. That is so cool that you were like, we have a primary source that can speak on the production of Sinners.
Yeah.
I guess we can get back into sort of the chronology of the story. Next, I think. I mean, if I'm skipping anything, please flag me down.
The vampires show
Yeah.
up.
We get the
I
entrance.
mean, it just turns into a vampire thriller.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing. I think Coogler's doing so much here because, I mean, he's paying homage to so many films. Obviously, his film buff, his nerd knowledge comes out just in what he references and.
Yeah, I mean the garlic. I mean the thing. It's the garlic is very
Stylistic,
similar to the blood test from
decisions,
the thing.
Yeah. But yeah, we get the reveal of the vampires happens. We get the scene where the Remick and his other I guess the rest of his crew like play outside of the door of the juke joint.
Yeah.
They asked to let him in.
Man, they're having a good old time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the Mary kind of susses him out, or I don't know. I think collectively they recognize maybe not. And then Mary goes outside for whatever reason. I forget why, but
I think she just went to see if they had like gone away.
Okay, yeah. She goes outside.
I think she was. Well, no, they decide that they actually do need the money, and they're like, hey, they got a lot of money, and she's like, all right, like I'll go see if they're good people.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I knew I'd seen the scene where she's like basically biting the throat of Stack, but I was like. I didn't know how that happened. So when she goes out there and she's like, oh, no, this is weird. And she like pulls the gun on him. I was like, oh, what's going to happen now? And then dude literally just starts levitating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also think, because this is also like vampirism introduces a lot of the subtext about appropriation and especially Mary, because I think they say like her grandparent was like half black or something.
Yeah.
And so because she's like white passing, I think it's like my reading of it was that.
And I mean, just like literally like them being like vampires, like lurking in the shadows and like appearing like normal on the surface. I mean, like, come on.
Yeah. Or yeah. Mary using like her proximity to whiteness as like she got like lured in essentially to what Remick and his crew were sort of preaching.
Yeah.
And so, there was a difference between like Mary was like in community with black folks because that was her life. That was her crew. That was her family essentially. But I think the allegory of the vampire, it like promises this sort of fool's gold of like I don't even know, it sells this false ideal or principle that people fall for, in various different ways that we'll talk about.
It's not. We're not like the others, you know.
Yeah,
we just,
where it's
yeah.
or it's like we
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using
because he literally says he's like, nah, I'm not like those people.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm on
referring
your
to the
side.
KKK.
It's like,
Or Remick specifically is an Irish immigrant, and there's a long history of the Irish people being colonized. And I think at one point they were enslaved too.
They were they were discriminated against when they arrived in America. So
I want to check. I don't want to just say that the Irish were enslaved, but basically there is this notion that because the Irish people experience discrimination, that they understand the plight of the black experience. And so this sort of falsehood that they try to sell to everybody at the juke joint is kind of like a virus that can spread and permeate throughout everybody else.
yeah.
And that it's this insidious sort of
Motivation.
yeah, motivation, or just like bad information that can spread if it goes unchecked.
Yeah.
And so that's really interesting. And then we get simultaneously you get the subtext, but you also just get some cool vampire stuff. And this is kind of goofy, but like my favorite part of the score. Well, first let's talk about Cornbread, because that's a great scene.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Cornbread goes out to pee, and then you hear cornbread.
Yeah. That was great.
Bro,
Yeah.
if I could have...
I thought it was funny because he stopped peeing when he heard his name. I feel like if I got scared that bad, I would have like peed more, but whatever.
No. Jacob and I disagreed on this.
I don't know about that. I would definitely probably stop.
Oh, no,
I would
me
be
and
like,
Mason are on the same page. I would stop peeing immediately. I wouldn't be able to get it all out. I'd be like, I have to stop. I'll do this later. But
Yeah. No.
yeah,
great
bro,
scene.
zip it up and run, man. Like, come on now.
Yeah, that was pretty great moment. What were you looking up?
yeah, I don't think Irish people were enslaved, but they were
Okay.
basically, heavily discriminated against. Yeah, so definitely want to make that clear. But yeah, related to that notion that yes, the Irish people were discriminated against, but Coogler sort of uses vampirism to highlight that that sort of nasty and false idea that the experience of discrimination equates to like a universal understanding of plight.
Yeah.
But my favorite use of music in the movie is when Cornbread asks to come in, and I don't know who says it, but I think it might be Annie that says, "Oh, he has to act like we have to let him in," and then he kind of falters for a second, and then Ludwig plays this. There's like this sort of like very eerie lick that plays. I'm gonna look this up. We can cut it, but hold on. I need to find this.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I remember.
Is it the guitar thing? The dun no no no.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I remember.
Also, I remember they were working on that scene for like a long time, and I love when Delta Slim is like, and I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, but I watched that like 100 times because like they were like cleaning up or moving the dialogue or something.
Yeah. They're like fine combing
Like
it.
I love that delivery, dude.
Yeah.
He goes, you know what? Let me tell you something. What, for that scene? It's when I think it's Stack's the one that it turns into a vampire, right?
Yes.
So I think it's Stack is like outside and he's like, "Come on, Smoke, like I wouldn't like ever, turned against you or whatever.
Mm.
It's like they're all outside waiting to be invited in.
Yeah.
Basically, is when that happens. Are you watching the movie, bro?
Got pulled up.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Literally, I was about to say, bro's pirating the whole movie. Single-handedly destroying movie theaters. Tisk tisk.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, so
Oh, hold on. Good. Yeah, there we go.
okay, yeah, sorry.
There you go.
Hello, everybody. I'm back. So Annie's like, admit to it, and you got some soft drinks coming in, and they're like, admit to what? Or Cornbread says, admit to what? And then Annie says, that you're dead. And then it goes boing 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 boing. But it's really cool here.
Wait, what?
I'll just play out loud.
Oh,
Yeah.
that. Okay.
Such a good scene. It just goosebumps, man. Just that little lick. It's so unsettling. And
It's also, I love when it just fully turns into a vampire movie. Like there's the pan up shot of like the moon and like the fog.
Yeah, with
and it's like
the red
big
eyes.
score
Oh, yeah.
comes in. It's like, come
That was
on.
great.
No, okay, there's definitely stuff that reminds me of the Thriller music video.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Even the score sounds like Thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of it that
it,
sound
yeah,
like-
it has. It does.
Yeah.
It definitely has elements.
But yeah, then it's just kind of vampire stuff, man. And
Like vampire in action.
then you get the freaky scene with Mary and Smoke, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smoke gets bitten. That's a pretty pivotal moment.
Yeah, that's a crazy scene where the blood just going way out of his neck, and they shoot him like 50 times.
Oh yeah, that is crazy.
Okay, that was Smoke that got bitten.
I think that was right.
Okay, I don't know. Sometimes I'm getting them confused.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's very, very easy.
Yeah.
So if y'all remember, please let me know. But I think it's Smoke. I think it's Smoke.
Yeah. I think Stack was like the calm and like collected one. I think Stack was the one with the blue hat. I don't know.
No,
Stack no.
Wait,
or was the other way?
Stack is the one that's bitten.
Oh, Stack's the one that's bitten. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I think yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Well, whatever.
But yeah. Yeah. So after Stack gets bitten, then we kind of get. I mean, there's like a vampire inside the inside the juke joint, so it feels like the well, we'll talk about this, that the juke joint serves as quite literally a sanctuary for like a safe space for black folks to be in community, and that through vampirism, that space is compromised. In vampirism, like associating to several different forms of, what we've been speaking to earlier of like oppression,
Deception,
manipulation, abuse of power,
Appropriation.
appropriation is a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now that sort of energy is infiltrated, it feels like just a matter of time before it's an all-out brawl. And essentially, the straw that breaks the camel's back is Gracie. I think is her name, right? Is it Gracie?
No, it's Lisa. I think
tripping,
is the
I'm
mom.
It's Lisa.
Oh wait. No, it is. No, Grace is the mom and Lisa's the daughter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I was wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. So Grace is Bo is talking. I think Bo gets bitten, right? And then he like convinces Lisa because she's like.
But then Remick is like, yeah, I'm gonna go get your daughter. And
he like
starts freaking out.
Yeah, he's able to like tap into. He uses vampirism as like a sort of hive mind thing to basically tap into all the trauma that people have experienced. Again, really interesting stuff there. And then Lisa pretty much can't bear it, and so she's like, "Let him in," and then they start fighting.
Which is okay. Which I gotta say, that's kind of crazy. Like, I was not expecting that because I was like, okay, something's gonna have to happen. But like, that's probably what would happen. Like, it's very realistic,
Yeah.
which I
Right.
feel like is kind of rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a mom would do that, for her kid. I'm serious.
No,
yeah, for
seriously,
sure.
yes, like that. But that's the thing. It's like in a movie, it's like you wouldn't think that they would just be like, all right, let's just have it out. Let's fight them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they duke it out for a little bit. It's fun. It's a fun time. It's good. Action scenes are awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you get the death of Annie. I think that's like the one big moment. Is that Smoke? She
Well, Delta Slim, I mean, he sacrifices himself. That's kind of sad.
oh does
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
But the Molotov. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rip.
Delta Slim's a great character. And then Annie, I think it's interesting. In many ways, I think Annie's character is completely antithetical to Remick and vampirism as sort of an abstract. Her connection and ties to her ancestors and her roots, and her insistence that she be killed before she's turned into a vampire, I think it's such the opposite of like what that sort of the spread of vampirism stands for. And in many ways, she's shown as the antidote to that. But Smoke follows through with her request and kills her before she can turn. And then, which is really hard for him. And then, what else happens?
I feel like it's over like pretty quick, like
Yeah.
fairly quickly.
Yeah,
in a
it
lot of
happens
ways.
fast, but
The
they
sun
go.
comes up.
Smoke rescues Sammy when he stakes Remick, and then like the whole like horde is like, the sun comes up and they all die.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then,
But that's after Stack and Mary like ran away.
Right.
sorry, I'm watching
Yeah. Yeah.
Tyrese
They're
Halliburton.
replaying the game winning
Oh.
shot right when that happened.
Come on, lock in.
Yeah. Yeah, but I feel like it definitely does happen like pretty quickly, and
But yeah, and then I think we get Sammy goes back to the church, and we see the scene play again,
Mm-hmm.
and then I guess we see him drive away, correct? And then it cuts.
Yeah, we do get the Smoke ambushes the clan.
yep.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry. It's a huge. That is an epic scene. That's like Scarface. I don't know. I mean, it's another instance of Coogler playing homage. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just
Yes.
Yeah, and then like
And it's also like he does the kind of Black Panther vision thing where
Yes.
Smoke sees Annie.
just
and
a
the daughter.
beautiful moment.
it's beautiful,
man.
and then
oh my
he's and then
goodness.
doesn't she like ask him to hold the baby?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And he like says he doesn't want to like he sees basically he's at the bridge. I don't know, how do people characterize that? What do they say? They're like just at the bridge between life and death, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And he says that he
But-
doesn't want to go back to living, essentially, which is like a really interesting thing. You hear that a lot in
I
depictions of
forgot
people
they
who've
said
had
that. Wow.
yeah, near death experiences, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's just a beautiful moment where he's able to connect with Annie before passing. And then what happens? I think he shoots the guy like 50 times.
Yep.
Yeah, Hogwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then does he? I think he
Quite
just passes away,
satisfying.
right?
What was that last
And then he
part?
passes away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when he sees Annie, or does he sees Annie like after he shoots him 50 times?
Mm-hmm. And then
full
that's
circle-
it.
Okay, sorry.
Post credit scene.
I need to go back and jump to the scene of Delta Slim in the car when he starts singing the blues. When he's talking about I forget what story he's telling. It's the first time that he sings, and he's in the car with Sammy and either Smoke or Stack. But He's singing. He starts humming to himself, and you think it sounds like a gospel song just because he's humming and just vocalizing. And then you realize it's the blues, and Sammy starts playing, and it's such a wonderful link between the blues and gospel music. And you see the proximity of those two genres and sort of the direct lineage of it. And also, it's like it characterizes the blues as sort of a verbalization of pain, or just like an expression,
like just shared language.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's a great scene. And I was just thinking of that because the scene includes cars and Sammy, and so after Sammy leaves the church, we find out that he chooses the blues music. Then it cuts to black,
and then cut to modern day, or like credit, like
I think it's like the 90s or something.
Yeah, it's like
60 years later. I think it's like in the 80s or 90s, right?
It's like music picks
Chicago,
back.
90s.
Music picks back up. Bum bum bum. Boom, we're back, and 90s.
Sammy's in his
bag.
60s, 70s, shredding, electric guitar, still playing the blues.
Yeah.
And I think I've also seen analyses about sort of using or comparing the church to conformity and the blues to freedom and individualism. And saying that, because in many ways, I've heard people suggest that, the church is just, and this is like a generality here, but like, in this instance, the church is used kind of, or the language uses the same sort of language of oppression that Remick uses. It's trying to silence Sammy as an individual. It's trying to silence his music, and in leaving it, he can become the individual, and he's able to express his individual voice outside of that. I also think like Christianity being with the Crusades and all that, and sort of tied to colonization too. There's some interesting subtext there, but I think that's an extra layer that's worth exploring. But he's playing the blues music in the 90s. We cut again.
Then we get the post-credit scene that we mentioned earlier, where Stack and what's her name?
Mary.
Stack and Mary.
And Josh Allen's wife.
Yeah. Stack and Josh Allen's wife show back up in new clothes, new disguises. It's like nothing ever happened in a lot of ways, and they've evolved. They've evolved with the times, and I don't really remember exactly what was exchanged, other than just kind of like.
Well, Sammy like performs for them, and then he's like, "Well, I'd love for you to like actually play on the banjo like one last time," and like I think he does. And then the important thing is like when they're leaving, Sammy admits that like despite that like night being crazy, like until sunset, it was the greatest day of his life.
Yep. Yeah,
I forgot about that. That's cool. That's good
and then
stuff.
Stack agrees, and he's like, since it was the last time, because it was the last time he saw smoke and the sun, he's like, that's the only time he'll ever truly feel free. This is really interesting.
Wow. Beautiful moment.
Yes.
Yeah. It was.
I think that was a nice little cherry on top.
Yeah.
The post credits.
It also associates the blues with freedom,
and it did not set up a sequel. So stop asking for
contrary
it.
to popular.
Wait, it didn't?
What? Say that again?
I'm thinking we might sin again.
Wait, say that again?
Sin again. In
Make
theaters,
this
2027.
armor bust a move.
Oh my gosh, I hadn't thought about that since then.
Someone needs to overlay the music from Sinners with the Descendants 2 dance scene.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
And then that's kind of that.
How are we thinking of like do you all think like this will end up like I mean this is like very silly and it doesn't matter because we don't know what the rest of the year is gonna hold, but like you all think this is gonna probably stay towards the top of your favorites of the year?
Yeah, easily. I mean, I feel like it's been
Most definitely.
I feel like it's been a pretty good year for movies so far, and
I mean better than last year's
we're off to
beginning of the year, but not great.
I think it's off to a better start than last year, and I think Sinners is easily the best film I've seen this year.
I do quite like Warfare.
Yeah, Warfare was.
That's another conversation.
I also really liked Warfare. But I think we'll just we'll wait it out. But
am I gonna be able to catch that anywhere before it leaves theaters, or is
Sinners?
that window passed? No,
Warfare.
Warfare
probably out.
Yeah,
but.
No movie theaters today. Yep.
I wish there's a way that I could watch it in Atmos. Like,
also, I mean, this does not matter, but the fact that Highest to Lowest, the Spike Lee movie is going to be playing in theaters for 2 weeks, and then it's going to go to Apple TV Plus.
What?
It's egregious. What are we doing?
The film, like the theater distribution's A24.
I feel like
I think only like 5 people are going to see the movie.
Spike Lee's got to stick up for movies more than that, man. Like. Or theaters.
Well, it's also like if I was listening to a podcast today and they were talking about like every like Denzel movie of the past 10 years has made like at least $100 million.
I'm sure.
Like, it's just stupid not to leave it in theaters.
I'm sure Spike pushed for it, but like I don't know. I don't know how that whole process went. So I mean,
yeah.
I think Spike would be one of the last directors to sign off on his film going straight to a streaming service. So I'd like to think that he pushed pretty hard, but 2 weeks is a pretty short window.
But I don't know. I think Sinners is gonna stay near the top for me. Summer's rolling around the corner. Yeah. We do have the new Spike Lee movie. We got F1.
We're about.
I was talking
F1, a new Wes Anderson, a new Celine song, and then that's just summer, dude.
Yeah, and then fall gets even
crazier. I cannot
crazier.
wait for him. Dude, him looks incredible. I'm hoping that it is good.
Dude, the fall, like, it's shaping up to be a really good fall. We're going to get a new Lynn Ramsey. We're going to get a new, also Ari Aster's movie comes out in like a month.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that looks really good,
that's also
actually.
June.
Ari
Aster,
yeah.
Man,
that looks interesting.
Yeah, no, this summer is going to be so good.
I don't know if it's, well, I will say this. I'm hearing good things. I'm not. It's not like I'm an insider, but I'm hearing good things.
Dang near.
About what? Eddington.
About Eddington.
Okay, good.
I mean, yeah.
I'm an Ari Aster fan, so I'm excited.
I think tackling the COVID thing, tackling 2020 as a topic is, I don't know. I mean, what can we compare it to? It's one of that thing where you kind of go to yourself, you go, oh, like sort of disappointedly. Because you just assume it's going to be done poorly.
Yeah, but also, you assume it's going to not be good, and you're worried about it because it's like, dude, no one can do that. But then it's also like, dude, I don't even care if it's bad. I'm so intrigued.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like we're also like 5 years removed.
It seems too soon.
We're 5 years removed, but I also think this hasn't been like attempted yet. So
it hasn't.
I'm willing to hear it.
So he has the opportunity.
We've had COVID movies in terms of. Oh, this is all shot in one house because COVID was on. But we haven't had any movies about COVID, really.
Outside of the pandemic. I mean, COVID's still, people are still getting sick. But, like, we are outside. We have moved past the sort of the central spot of the pandemic.
It's also not just it's just about the pandemic. There's like Biden is in it, Trump is in it. Like it's political. It's just overtly political.
It's our first sort of retrospective of the 2020s. And interestingly, Aster has the opportunity to set some precedent here for how these
how that's going to be remembered on film.
Yeah. And also sort of I get in turn the how we're going to associate cultural depictions of these moments of that time of like, is that going to be done well? Can it be done not tastefully, but like, can it be done and say something, or is it just going to like be a cheap engagement of something we all lived through? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. The more we talk about this is I'm very excited for this. I already was excited.
I'm a little worried. I'm very excited. I'm a little worried just because of the content, but I'm telling you, I'm hearing good things. Like,
well, that
I've heard it's good.
That makes me feel good, and I'm a bit of an Ari Aster fan.
And we'll
fan
see.
boy.
I mean, it's premiering at Cannes in like a week, so we'll start to
Oh,
hear
yeah.
things pretty soon.
Cannes is this week. You know, if we drop a Patreon, you might be funding a trip to Cannes someday. So
Hey, we have 27 reviews, 5 stars on Spotify now.
yeah.
So I mean,
Up it.
I
Come on, guys.
I can see Can off in the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once we hit 30
drop a
ratings,
Patreon.
and then that's when Cannes comes.
Please leave 5 stars though. It does help. I don't know if it does, but like to
I think it does.
help.
Leave
with
a comment
visibility.
down there as well.
Leave a comment. Say hello on Spotify.
Yeah.
Use that comment feature. It's
Follow.
not there just to look pretty.
But yeah, I think Sinners will stay near the top, and I think it's going to be a great summer and fall. I'm just very excited for many movies.
Mason's got me drinking the F1 Kool-Aid, man.
Dude, I don't know, man. I've heard that I've heard varying things, but it's Joseph Kosinski doing a fast moving vehicle movie. Come on now, like
I mean, just the technical stuff
we've
that is
seen
in the
Tron
trailer.
Legacy and we've seen Top Gun Maverick. It could be very good.
Yeah.
Okay, people don't talk about how brilliant Tron Legacy is technically. For 2010,
exactly.
for 2010, how good that movie looks. It doesn't get enough credit, I don't think.
Yep.
But-
I'm very excited. I am a little worried. The runtime was released a couple days ago. It's 2.5 hours. It's a little long.
2.5 is long, but it's not crazy.
I mean, Top Gun is like 2.5.
Yeah, that's what I was
Top Gun
thinking.
Maverick. So
I think Top Gun could honestly be shaved down 20 minutes.
it's also like, say what you will, you know I'm a big Brad Pitt guy. So
No, that's fair. That's fair. I like that Mike Ehrmantraut's daughter from Better Call Saul is getting some screen time.
Yeah.
She's getting some lead roles.
Yeah.
So shout out to her. But yeah, it looks sick. And Javier, man.
Got it.
Lyle
Dude,
Crocodile
when Javier's
himself.
cooking, it's hard to beat him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to call it.
Potatoes.
That was really good.
Thank you.
You have to call it.
You've been calling it your whole life.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's all I got.
Closing thoughts? I don't know. I think we closed them.
Yeah, go see it.
Yeah, please go see Thinners in theaters.
Listen to your favorite music and think about the good times. Then connect with your roots.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
And with that,
Roll that outro music.
boom.
And with that, the 2025 season has come to an end.